Hi guys! Welcome back to another episode of our live season. So in this episode it's gonna be a little bit special because I wanna talk about a little bit more of the business side of things. So I think I mentioned like my entrepreneurial journey in the past few episodes, like here and there, but I've not actually really talked about my journey, like the full version of my journey, and I just kind of wanna, use this episode to talk a little bit more about that while also talking about why I've actually decided to go back to 9 to 5 and the whole transition of me going from having like the mentality of like, oh my god, if I go back to 9 to 5 it means I failed, to right now where I appreciate the financial stability of having a 9 to 5 and while also traveling and also pursuing like my passion. So basically appreciating and focusing more on of my 5 to 9 before my 9 to 5. Okay. Anyways, so to start off, I think I just kind of want to say like I have been in the coaching industry for quite a while, which is like 1 year. It's not very long, but I used to be in the coaching industry where I've always heard of coaches talking about how, oh, quit your business. Oh no, quit your 9 to 5 and go into your business full time. And just I think there was this whole trend about how people are quitting their 9 to 5 to go into business, to go full on with their business, and it was something that a lot of people actually encourage, I feel. And I have like business coaches, I have hired or invested business coaches where they encourage this. And it's, how do I put it, I feel like it's almost to a point whereby it's too much, that it becomes a trend where everyone is just talking about it because someone else's um because some other coaches are talking about it as well. Like in this coaching industry, it became really trendy and people were using it for content. Coaches were using it for content to kind of motivate their clients. And I was in this whole entire loop of quitting my 9 to 5 and going into my business full time. If you are serious about it, this is what they tell you, that, oh, if you're serious about your business, you should quit your 9 to 5 and spend all of your time on your business. So for the longest period of time, I actually believed in it. I actually fully embody this statement of, if you're serious about starting your business, you should quit your 9 to 5. And so I did. So I think for about 2 years I was actually doing like my freelance stuff, was actually building my business. So prior to, just a little background on what I did, I tried a lot of different things. I've tried drop shipping. I've tried creating like products, which is like greeting cards and designing my own product. And then I've tried, what else? I've tried like freelancing, which is my creative business, on and off. And I feel like nothing really hits or sticks because I don't know. I think when I started, I mentioned this before, when I started my whole, like, whatever business that I started back then, all I had in mind was that it needs to make me money. It's not, I mean, I am passionate in the industry, in the particular industry that I was in, like whether or not it's fashion or just design in general. I have passion in it, but when it becomes something that needs to earn me money, I think that's when the pressure comes in. And if it doesn't do well, I started hating it. I started resenting it. So you could see how things went downhill from there because I didn't have the passion to keep me going. There wasn't any fire in me to keep me going when things went wrong. I think that was the most important part. But that's what, like, coaches don't tell you, or people don't tell you enough. Or I feel like this topic is not really talked about because of how everyone thinks that, yeah, it makes sense, right, that if you're serious about your business, you should go full force in it, you should go full time. But I think that was when, through my own experiences, I realized that why is it, known that going back to a 9 to 5 or being in a 9 to 5 means that you won't be able to work on your business and have a successful business. Because you will realize that there are two sides to everything, right? Like the duality of life. There's a side whereby there are people who drop their business, I mean, drop their 9 to 5 and go into business full time and make like shit tons of money. And then there's another side, which is, my category, whereby I drop my 9 to 5, go into the business and start suffering. Because it just doesn't work out. And then that's when you start to realize that people, it can go to a stage whereby people give up a lot of things. They give up their houses, or they just give up their car for to support their business. With business, I understand that you have to take risk, right? You in anything in life, we just have to take risk. But I feel like people, we don't talk about this enough, or it's not, people don't talk about it like transparently as compared to, you know, what is shown on the internet. I feel like that's when I get so frustrated because I literally have to learn it the hard way. I was someone that was very persistent and rigid in terms of like the mindset that I had. You know, when I was told by my mentor, my business mentor, that you should, you know, really focus on your business and make it work. So when I have this mentality, right, I feel like when it doesn't work, when my business don't show me results, it means it's not working, it means I failed. And I get really, really frustrated because I drain out a lot of my finance just to either run ads or just to invest in myself, because there's another side of the coaching industry where coaches are telling you that, oh, you should invest in yourself if you're serious about it, you should always be up leveling yourself, which I 100% agree that we should always improve ourselves with, and we should always up level ourselves. But investing in mentors are not cheap. Like, it comes with a cost, and I fully support investing in a mentor to up level yourself, to up level your business. But I feel like it has to come from a place of certainty. It has to come from a place whereby you feel good in your body, because it honestly don't make sense to drain out all your savings or to drain out whatever that you have financially in your bank account just to hire one mentor and thinking that he or she is gonna be the one that is a game changer for you. Because I always believe that no one else can help us be successful other than ourselves. We have to be our biggest supporter. We have to be the person that's there for us. We are the one running our business. So I feel like we shouldn't, if you're hiring a mentor or if you're investing in, whether it's a course or mentor, thinking that, you know, that course is the one, or that mentor is the one that's gonna bring you to be successful, then I would say that you're up for disappointment, honestly speaking. Because no matter how much people tell you, or how much you trust the person, or how much you relate to the person's content, I feel like at the end of the day, if you go into anything thinking that you have to rely on someone else to bring you up or to level you up, then I think that, you know, you're really up for disappointment, because that's when you start to, you know, feel like you could actually slack, and then you rely on people a lot. And I realized that a lot of times in life, like decisions like this, that is made by us, we have the choice to choose what we want to choose, we have the choice to make certain decisions, and everything is within our control, everything is within our power. When you don't rely on people to make things happen for you are put in a situation where you have to make things happen for yourself. And I think that's when growth happens. That's when you're out of your comfort zone. That's when you start to really learn what do you actually like and what do you actually not like. And to figure yourself out, I feel that's like the whole point of life. So I would say that for the longest period of time, I keep thinking that, oh, going back to a 9 to 5 is just wrong. Like, it means I'm not serious about my business. It means I failed in my business and I failed to be an entrepreneur. And I love being an entrepreneur. I love the whole idea about it. It's not, to me, being an entrepreneur is not like, oh, I get to, you know, earn shit tons of money and just get to sit at home and just relax and enjoy life. Yes, that is the byproduct of it. But I think at the core, like, why I really love it is because I get to call something my own. I think the satisfaction and fulfillment of being able to call like a business your own and have your own community is just amazing. Like, even for this podcast, right, I don't label it as a business because I don't see it that way. I don't need it to earn me money. Of course, if it does, then at the end of the day, of course, I'll be happy, right? I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and be like, oh, it doesn't need to earn me money, and then, yeah, like, low-key hoping that it will, because honestly, this is what I'm passionate about. And like I mentioned a lot of times before, that you would know that something is right for you in your heart. Like, you could just feel it in your intuition, in your gut, that this is something that lights you up. Because I can be doing this for hours and hours, and I lose track of time while I'm recording, or while I'm, you know, creating certain content for our live seasons, or even for an honest entry. So I would say that really understand that when you find something that you're so passionate about, you tend to, you know, not think about like whether or not it's gonna make you profit. I think that's when you hit the jackpot. this is not talked about because everyone, especially in the coaching industry, wants. I have no hate to mentors or coaches or the coaching industry in general, because I used to be in it and enough to know that, certain techniques are a little bit sleazy, and the standard procedures that the standard sales scripts that they use, that coaches use to get you to just pay them. And then at the end of the day, you would come out of the course and come out of the session even more confused than ever, because I have actually invested in a business mentor where I felt gaslighted in a sense, to drop everything and just to make it work. And if it doesn't work, it means, I'm the problem. Which I think to a certain extent is true, because whatever that is not working in your business, I would say that it is right to just look at yourself, because you are the founder, you are the base and the foundation of the business, right? But I feel that um we should always be, aware of the things that we read online, aware of, the concepts that are being presented to us. Because like I mentioned a lot of times, I feel like it's important for us to have our own mindset, to have our own ideas, and to not just take things as it is. We take things with a pinch of salt, because I used to look at things on TikTok or Instagram and be like, oh my god, this coach is earning this amount of money, it means I can do it as well. Yes, you can do it, but I think the real question is whether or not you can do it long enough, you love it enough, and you're passionate about it enough to be able to do it long run. And also, if let's just say all things fail, like, would you still do it just because you are passionate about it? Because I always believe, I think I have this concept that I mentioned about it before as well, that I don't believe, or I don't want my passion to support me. I should be the one supporting my passion. Because when you look at your passion and you start expecting it to support you, when you start expecting it to earn you money, I think that's when it becomes a chore. At some point in time of, running a business, things may become a chore, it may become mundane, things like creating content, thinking of new content ideas, or editing in general. But I feel like right now I can 100% like be so certain and tell you that I have never felt like a chore while creating our live seasons, this podcast, like content, or recording this podcast. Yes, there are days where I'm tired from work, but whenever I think about the amount of content that I can put out there, or the amount of people that I can help through my content, it literally feels like, there's like, I am so 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 passionate and so 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 excited about it. I look forward to it. It's like the best part of my day. So even though I may be having like a bad time or a bad day, when I think about our live seasons, this podcast, recording, and just being able to put my work out there and just say my piece, I feel like this gives me freedom. I'm someone that chase after freedom. I love freedom. That's why I love traveling. So having the freedom to say whatever that I want to say, having the freedom to be able to share my thoughts, I feel like this is something that I truly, truly, truly enjoy. And I have always been someone that is just, I don't, even though I may be an introvert, but I love to just record moments like this, whereby I sit down and I just talk to the camera, to anybody or whoever. Like, even though it may just be me alone, like right now in this room, I feel like I don't know, I just find so much peace within, and just so much happiness just being able to sit here and just talk about anything and everything. Anything that I like, I don't have to follow a certain script, I don't have to follow a certain rules. And this is just pure happiness for me. But I know for a lot of people, or for certain people, they may not be comfortable sitting in front of a camera talking about it. Because I think I have this conversation with my mom, which is so funny. Like, she does look at, my podcast episodes and hear them when she's, on the go and she's commuting to work. And the funniest thing that she told me was, she was so shocked that I do not have a script in front of me. Like, I'm literally just talking off script, whatever that's on top of my mind. And she's like, you don't have a script. Like, how do you even do that? How do you even know what to say? So that was when I started realizing that, this is something that I would say is a talent, or I'm gifted, or I'm just born with it, that I'm able to be so comfortable in front of a camera and then being able to just speak my mind. At the very start, I wasn't uncomfortable, but I was just insecure. I wasn't really confident when I started, my first YouTube channel back in 2018, 2019. I was afraid of what people would think of me. But right now, I can tell you I don't really care, honestly. Like, I know that there will be people out there that will look at this and be like, oh my god, who does she think she is, trying to start, this podcast? Like, she's only 24. Why would she have anything to give? Like, what's so valuable about this podcast? But I have so much faith in my capabilities and in what I have. Like, for all the years that I've been reading books and, receiving and up leveling myself, I feel like I have so much to give back to the society, because I feel like everyone has value to in their life, have value to give to anyone who's willing to listen. So I would say that honestly right now I don't really care like whether this podcast episode is, messy. I will right now I want to take messy inspired actions. I'm practicing, counting down like the Mel Robbins rule of like 5 4 3 2 1 and just launch. That is what I'm doing. Like every single time that I hesitate, that I try to find excuses for myself, I would just count down and be like 5 4 3 2 1, and I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna do it. I'm practicing it because I'm reading like the my current book of the day, no, actually of the month, is the 5 Second Rules by Mel Robbins. So I truly enjoy it because I think prior to reading this, I was in a rut, like a creative rut. I spent a lot of time just feeling tired and not wanting to do certain things. I have this habit of waking up at 5 a.m. every single morning to work on my podcast, to work on creating content for our live seasons and for an honest entry before I go to work. So this is the morning is the time where I feel creative and I want to give my 100% to my business before like draining out my energy and then coming back. And you know you can actually hear my dog. I don't know why he's always screaming when I'm recording, but I'm just gonna continue. It's a little distracting, but just bear with me. So I would say that for me, I have this habit of waking up at 5. I have gone back and forth between, whether waking up at 5 is like, I know there's a lot of people that's debating whether you should wake up at 5, or you're more productive at 5, or you're like a night owl. But for me, I've done both, and what I've realized is that I have, in a sense, open inverted, no choice but to wake up at 5 a.m. because I used to go to work and then come back home after 7:30 and try to work on my business till 11, and I would sleep and then I would repeat the cycle the next day. But I feel like I'm not productive because I get so drained out after my 9 to 5, emotionally and mentally and just physically, that I don't think it's fair for my business because I'm not giving it 100%, right? Yes, I may be recording our live seasons podcast like after work, but it's because I realize it's something that I really truly enjoy, and I'm so much more creative while I'm walking, back home, or rather I'm commuting. So I think that's like the best time for me to just record, because yeah, it just flows. I feel like to know yourself enough to know like what you're comfortable well with and what feels good to your body. I think that's the most important part. It's never about looking at someone's journey and copying it. It's more about looking at someone's journey, taking reference and seeing if it fits your schedule, or if it fits your lifestyle, if it fits your desires. So I think for me, that's the one of the biggest thing that I've learned while starting my business, is to know that I don't take anything like as it is. I would take it with a pinch of salt and see how I can twist it to match my lifestyle. Or I would always ask myself, does it feel good in my body? Does it feel good to be doing whatever that someone else is doing? Because yes, I may look up to them as a role model, but I know that whatever that they are doing might not be suitable for me, just because I'm in a very different position in life, or I'm in a very different mindset. Like my level might not be there yet. So yeah, you get what I mean. So basically I would say that like yeah, so going back to the whole concept of, like, oh, quit your 9 to 5 and start your business 100%, go in it 100%, stuff like that. I feel like not a lot of people talk about the financial stability that your 9 to 5 gives, that allows you to have this mental offload to work on your passion project like this. So I would say that I've only actually discovered this few months back, where I transitioned from, like I mentioned just now, like I transitioned from waking up, as in I transitioned from waking up for my work and then coming back home and then working on my passion project, to waking up at 5 a.m., working on my passion project first, and then going to work. Because I think I have this conversation with my mentor, and she was like telling me, because I was telling her how drained out I was and how I was constantly in a rut, trying to get myself to not procrastinate and get work done for my passion project. Because I always come back home tired and just I don't want to do anything anymore. I just want to lay in bed. I just want to watch Netflix and just, rest for the rest of the night. So I think that's when she asked me, like, why would you not want to try waking up in the morning and then work on your business and on your passion project first. So I was like, I've tried, but I don't know. Like, I don't know why I've not thought about it before, but because I think mainly because I've actually woke up. I've actually tried this 5 a.m. routine, but I always tell myself that I'm more of a night owl. I've always given myself this reason, this excuse that I'm more of a night owl, so I can't really, be productive in the morning. But at the end of the day, what I realize is that I just don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. because it's just so tiring. To me, the whole idea of waking up at 5 a.m. and working on my business is just so tiring. I mean, who I used to think that who the hell wakes up at 5 a.m.? Like, what are you gonna do at 5 a.m.? And then the funniest thing was when she asked me to try it out, because one thing that she said changes the way I view waking up at 5 a.m. Because she was like telling me, think of it this way. If you're always waking up like for your work, going to work first and then coming back to work on your business, you would always feel drained because when we wake up first thing in the morning, we're always the most creative, we're always the most energetic. We have recharged, right, from our sleep. So let's just say right now you have like 100% of your battery of your life, your social life, your battery life, whatever it is, for the day. You spend 90% of it on your business. Oh no, sorry, 90% of it on your 9 to 5. Whatever that's left, which is the 10%, will be for your business. Do you think it's fair? Because that's essentially what I was doing. I had 100% battery life, and then I went to work and then go through the whole entire day commuting, this and that. At the end of the day, I'm only left with 10%, and I'm using this 10% trying to squeeze the life out of me to make creative content. I think that was when I realized, oh yeah, actually, why it's not fair to my business if I were to just give it 10%, because it should be something that, I eventually want to be able to work on it full time, right? So I think that was when I realized, okay, why not just try waking up at 5 a.m. and see how it goes. So I would say that the first week I was so shocked, because the first week I managed to wake up at 5 a.m. constantly from Monday all the way to Friday. I used my Saturdays and Sundays to rest. Like I mentioned, you have to understand yourself enough to know what works for you and what doesn't. Because I know there will be people that are saying like, oh my god, you're not consistent, you're only waking up like at 5 a.m. from Monday to Friday. What about Saturday, Sundays? For me, Saturday, Sundays are meant to be relaxed and be rested so that I can actually spend more time with my family members. And that is just what I found work best for me. I don't feel pressured to wake up at Saturdays and Sundays, because I feel like if I have to wake up at 5 a.m. On Saturdays and Sundays, then that pressure comes back up again. It's just for me personally. But I know there will be people that are saying you have to be consistent, or you have to wake up at 5 a.m. for like 21 days straight, so that you kind of create it as a habit, so that your muscle memory, this and that, like your body clock, blah blah blah. But to me, I am still able to wake up at 5 a.m. from Monday to Friday, even if I don't on Saturdays and Sunday. So honestly, it really is about your mindset and knowing your body, because like I mentioned, knowing your body is so 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 crucial to actually know what type of routine works best for you, and to know what type of routine allows you to perform at your best. So I feel like try to take time off to figure out what works for you, even if the things that I'm saying right now, if let's just say you find it interesting and you feel like you're on your way to actually creating your own business and to actually work on your passion project, and you find it so 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 hard and so tiring to try to squeeze the life out of you after your 9 to 5, or after whatever activity that you have, whether it's school or not, at the start of the day, then I would say try waking up at 5 a.m. Because honestly, when I tried waking up at 5 a.m., there's just this peace. I don't know if it's about the routine, or it's just something about 5 a.m. where the world is so quiet. Like literally it's so 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 peaceful. And I'm someone that loves peace and quiet. It's just so, I don't know, the vibes of a 5 a.m. is so 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 different. Like when I wake up and everyone is still asleep, I feel like I'm so much more ahead of the day. When it's so funny, because by the time it reaches afternoon, I'm like, wait, what? I've actually done this and that. I've done so much on my list, and I feel so much more productive. So I feel like that's when I also start to prioritize my own needs, my own desires, and also start to set boundaries so that, I'm very clear of what, when I am in my 9 to 5, I focus on my 9 to 5, and when I'm out of my 9 to 5, it's my passion time. And I still have time after work to watch Netflix, to just chill, and to just, journal or do whatever it is that I feel like it that night itself. It might be reading, it might be listening to music, and just sitting there and just absorbing like everything that has happened like for that day. So I would say that, yeah, really try out this 5 a.m. routine, because I think there's a book on it, so you guys can actually go and like check it out and see what works best for you, because I know that there are people who wake up at 5 a.m. who goes to the gym. And yeah, I'm not saying to try 5 a.m. because it's a trend, or it's, I feel like we always relate to people who wake up at 5 a.m. who's someone that is really disciplined, who's someone that has their shit together. But I feel like there are also people who works best at night. So let's just say you want to wake up and just, go for lessons, or, you're still in university and you're still studying and you want to go for lessons in the morning, and you have time after, during the afternoon all the way to the end of the day, and you feel like you function best completing your studies and revisions and whatever not at the start of the day, by all means, go ahead, do it. So, like I mentioned again and again and again, know yourself, okay? Know yourself enough to know how you work, and when is it that you're most productive. So I would say don't be afraid to try out different routines and switch it up, because for me right now, I feel like I was mentioning just now, I don't know if it's the routine or not, because right now my morning routine goes something like this. I will wake up in the morning, and then while I'm still in the groggy half awake state, I would actually turn on either like I would actually start a guided meditation while I'm still in bed. So I would sit up, right? Or sometimes I might just lay in bed. But that's very dangerous, because sometimes I do fall back asleep if I lay in bed and start meditating. But while I'm still, half awake, I feel like that's when our brain functions the best. That's when our brain is able to absorb a lot more information. So I would sit up, right, and I would start meditating via like guided meditation. So I'll put on my headphones and I'll start starting my day by visualizing and meditating. So once that's done, I would wash up and I would switch on my um iMac, and I'll just let it run and just let it set up, and then I would, get changed and stuff like that, and then I would start my work. So other times I would bounce out of bed and I would, do my morning routine. Just that this time around, my meditation would be at the later part. So sometimes when I don't have time to meditate in the morning, I would just meditate while I'm commuting. So like I said, your routines can change. Don't be afraid to try out different routines, because when you find a routine that sticks for you and that really works for you, you have hit the jackpot. You literally feel like, everything just goes on autopilot, and it's happening for you. Life is happening for you. So when I actually started waking up at 5 a.m., I started realizing that I'm so much more happier. I'm so much more lighthearted, I feel, because I feel like I've conquered the important parts of my day, and then the rest is whatever that's left in my battery life, or whatever, energy that I've left for my 9 to 5. And I think I unapologetically feel like I want to put a lot more focus on what I'm passionate in, because honestly, at the end of the day, your 9 to 5, you're getting the financial stability. But whether or not you're gonna be someone that, yourself, if you're not an entrepreneur, or if you are not interested in being an entrepreneur, a 9 to 5 works for you. Climb the corporate ladder, you go you. I have nothing to say about that. It's nothing bad nor like, good. I'm not saying that being an entrepreneur means you put yourself up and then like everyone else is below you, or vice versa. But I feel like if you are an entrepreneur, which is why you're listening to this, or if you are interested in being an entrepreneur, then I would say that the most important part is to prioritize, your day. Like, prioritize your passion, prioritize your business, prioritize working on your business first before you give your energy to the rest of the things that aren't as open inverted important to you. Okay, so set your priorities right. So I would say that for me, obviously my 9 to 5 is just there for me to give, like, to have that financial stability, which I'm so grateful for, because I feel like I mentioned, I was in both. I was in a stage whereby I didn't have a 9 to 5, that I was only solely relying on my business. And then now I have a 9 to 5 for that financial stability and being able to run my business on the side as well. So I feel like, obviously, I prefer my current state, which is having a 9 to 5 and running my business on the sideline, because I have always been someone that is so hard up on the outcome. I used to be someone that needs to control the outcome, that I want things fast. I want it to happen now. Like if I were to start a business within the next 2 months, I need to be able to see results. And it's like whether or not it's monetary results or whether or not it's analytics, whereby I start seeing numbers, follower counts, this and that, right? And for the longest period of time, I always use this to measure how successful I am or how capable I am, which you can actually imagine how tiring it is for me, for my mental health, because I'm always attaching my self-worth to numbers. So I think one thing that I want to say is that numbers doesn't mean it's, the end of everything, because there can be people who are looking at your content but just not liking, just not, being in that number count, just not following. But these are the people that might actually really help. These are the people that sometimes, turn into clients, because I have people who are looking at my stuff, like my creative business side of things. They have never followed me, they've never spoke to me, I do not know they exist, but end up becoming my clients just because of that, one particular post. And that post, they might not even like it. So I would say that, like, never ever attach your self-worth or your of the of how you determine your business, whether or not your business is successful, based on numbers and analytics. Okay, so I would say that, yeah, this is just a little tip. And then other than that, I would say that, like, right now, having that financial stability from my 9 to 5 really allows me to be more creative. You'll be so surprised, because you'll be wondering, like, because now my time is actually cut half. I have to spend, majority of my time in a 9 to 5, and then only whatever that's left, the time that's left for my business. But you'll be so shocked to realize that if you're like me, you'll be so shocked to realize that it actually gives you so much more peace. That I feel, at least for me, I feel so much more comfortable chasing after my passion, because I know that I allow it to fail. It's okay for it to fail. It's okay for it to not see results immediately, because I'm still financially secure. And then another thing about this is that I am actually actively investing, so that, I don't have that the amount of money that I take in every single month is not that, I know that it's growing. For me, I'm investing in certain things and stuff like that, and I have someone that is looking after my finances for me. But knowing all that, I know that, my whatever that I see in my bank account is always growing, even though I may not be seeing it. Okay, if it even makes sense. So I would say that really be financially smart, be financially literate, so that you know where your money is going, you know how to manage your money. Because I feel like no matter how abundant you are or how wealthy you become, if you don't know how to manage your money, if you don't know, like, if you're not financially literate, I would say that you'll find yourself in a situation whereby no matter how much money you have, it will all just go up. Because I used to be someone that is not able to hold a certain amount energetically wise. Like, it was 10K for me. So whenever I see my bank account hit like 10K, I would not go more than 10K, and I would not go less than 10K, just because I'm not energetically aligned with holding a bigger sum of money. So when I have more money coming in, I would always spend the rest and leave 10K in my bank. And when I go down, like when I dip to less than 10K, I'll start panicking. So I think I was back and forth on this, like, whole seesaw journey of, like, more than 10K I'll spend away, and then less than 10K I would actually start panicking. So when I started working on my money mindset, I realized that, things change so quickly, because now I'm actually opening my heart up more to financial abundance, and also to see how I can actually invest my money and see other options. So I'm not only relying on one source of income. This gives me peace, this gives me comfort. Okay, so I would say that I am no financial advisor, but just know what you're doing with your money. And if you have someone that is looking after your finances, please, please, please trust the person enough to be able to, let your finances, yeah, go towards that person. What am I talking about? But anyways, yeah. So I'm not a financial advisor, so don't quote me on that. But just know that read up on certain, because I'm not someone that is really, because I used to say that I'm not someone that is into numbers. I used to avoid looking at my bank account, just because I have a very shitty money mindset, and I used to avoid money. So I always like to think of money as like person, like a human, like a friend, right? If you're always talking shit about money or about this person, do you think that the person will want to stay in your life? No, they will leave, right? So it's the same thing for money. If you're always talking shit about money, or if you're always avoiding looking at money, obviously money wouldn't want to look at you. Money wouldn't want to be around you. So I know I went on a little tangent here, but this is just a side note, tying up all the business side of things. So right now, I would say that for me, I'm really happy with where I am right now financially, and my life situations, because I have actually stopped my design business a while back, I think few weeks back, because I just don't feel that passion anymore. And I used to not be able to do that. I used to not be able to let go of something that isn't working anymore, because I am so emotionally attached to all my businesses that I feel like if I were to let it go, if I were to deem it as failed, open inverted failed, then it's really embarrassing and it hurts my ego. But right now, I see every business opportunity, every businesses that I've created as just a passion project, right? Like I don't see it as a business, because then I know that I start to think that it needs to earn me money. So like I say, your passion does not need to earn you money. You work for your passion so that your passion can continue to support your creativity, to support you in whatever ways that it can. Okay. So I would recommend the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. If you've not read it, please go and read it. It's so good. It really changed my whole mentality and my whole mindset on like passion and on business and stuff like that. So if whether or not you're a creative person, or you're into finance or you're into tech, I would say that this book really just helps you, because everyone has this creative side of things. I think we always think that, when you say that you're not a creative person, essentially what you're saying that you are just not a painter, a drawer, a designer, or whatever not. But creativity lies in everyone. We all have creative juices. We all have creativity. It's just put in different forms. Okay, so I would say that don't ever, ever, ever put pressure on your passion, or put pressure on your whatever that you're passionate about, because it's a passion for a reason. It's not your job. It's not supposed to be your job. It's it will be a bonus if it ends up becoming your full-time job. Of course, that is where we always want to reach, and that is where everyone else is saying like, oh, turn your passion into your full-time job. Of course, it'll be nice. Like, who doesn't want it, right? But I would say that at the very start, what people don't tell you enough is that at the very start, release all sorts of control, release all sorts of expectations of a certain outcome. That's when you start to allow your passion to do its work. That's when you start to be more creative, because I feel like for every human and for everyone, when we start to try to control certain circumstances or certain outcome, when we start to like expect certain things, trust me, the universe will never ever give you what you expect. It's always this or better. Like I mentioned, I have this mentality whereby it's always this or better, this or better. And when I live with this mentality, I know for sure that when things don't work out, how I look at it is, it's not a failure, it's a lesson. So I'll start to wonder, what lesson is the universe trying to teach me? What lesson is this open inverted failure trying to teach me? So when you start looking at that, you start to realize that you're always on this path of growth, because you're always opening yourself up for growth. And being an entrepreneur, I feel like that's the most important part. You will realize that successful entrepreneurs are always looking for opportunities to grow. They always have this different view on life. Like whenever people, like the majority of the people will go left, they will want to go right, because they have their own mindset, they have their own concept of certain things, and they're just so unique. So I know entrepreneurial, like being an entrepreneur is not something that everyone wants or something that everyone is passionate about, and that's fine. But just this episode is for all my entrepreneurial friends or people that who are looking to start up a business, or who is looking to turn your passion into hopefully your full-time job. Then I would say that this is what I have to say based on my experiences. Okay, so I think this is a really special episode. I know I went a little bit here and there, but I just hope you enjoy episodes like this, and I'll see you next week. Bye.